Hello everyone, and welcome to my group's brief look at the life and accomplishments of librarian Louis Shores. Shores was actually born Louis Steinberg in Buffalo, New York in 1904, but the Steinbergs changed their name to Shores. Later, the family moved to Toledo, Ohio, but Shores really grew up in the local library. In fact, in 1918, he got his first job as a page in the Toledo, Ohio Public Library. Shores was an incredibly well-educated individual. He received his B.A. at the University of Toledo in English while working at the campus library. In 1927, he actually received 2 M.A.s at City College of New York in both English and education, again while working at a library, in this case the New York Public Library. And in 1929, he received his MLS at Columbia University. The man's work history was also quite varied. In 1928, he became the librarian of Fisk University in Tennessee, and it was there that the interests that would drive the rest of his career really began to develop. He said that there he noticed, and I quote, "There was too much evidence in the collection Fisk then had of the condescension of some white folks somewhere saying, 'Any books at all will be more than the Negro has had.' That was not good enough, and I was determined that the Fisk collection should stack up against the ivoriest of the Eastern colleges." At Fisk, he really concentrated on collection development and bibliographic instruction. In 1933, he joined the faculty of Peabody College Library School and would remain there until 1946, with one hiatus, which I'll mention in a second. And because he didn't have enough letters after his name, in 1934 he earned 2 PhDs in education and history from Peabody. And then he served in World War II in the U.S. Army Air Force. Upon his return to the States after that conflict, he began editing Collier's Encyclopedia, but he left again in 1951 after he got a Fulbright and actually went to the British Library and studied how they handled their reference services. Upon his return to the States, he became the dean of the Florida State Library School and remained there until his retirement in 1967. Today, FSU College of Information has a Louis Shores building in his memory, and actually this is one of the many honors he received during his lifetime. And there's the building. Normally one has to donate quite a bit of money to have a building like that named after them. His contributions to librarianship in general include the founding of the American Library History Roundtable in 1947 with Wayne Shirley. Shores was active in this organization for 20 years. The ALHRT established the Journal of Library History and the Library History Seminar Series. Both still exist, although the journal is now called Libraries and Culture. His contributions to reference are what should really interest us, and that's what we would like to look at in the most depth. Shores wanted to make reference books more respected among faculty and students, and he also sort of envisioned a library college, a place where librarians and teachers would share course instruction and classes would take place in the library so that students could have immediate access to the resources. He referred to these 2 things as his crusades. The first one became the basis for reference instruction. The second, though not as successful at the time as he would have liked, is really an early effort at what we now call information literacy. These crusades compelled him to write the book on reference instruction. It was called Basic Reference Books, which later became Basic Reference Sources for obvious reasons. It was based on both his teaching and his on-the-job experience, and it's a sort of Cliff's Notes to Isidore Mudge's Guide to Reference Books. It reduces the 4,000 titles in Mudge to 2 groups, 172 absolutely essential titles, and 254 titles to be simply familiar with. In the book, he progresses from general types of sources like encyclopedias, dictionaries, almanacs, that sort of thing, to specific subject reference materials. And he assumes that the best preparation for reference work is being familiar with a core group of commonly used reference books, which should sound familiar to everyone in this room. In his book, Shores outlined how to evaluate reference sources. He felt that one should examine the authority, the scope, the treatment, the arrangement, the bibliographies, and the special features of the work. And I believe these are mentioned more than a few times in the textbook that we're using now. Authority. One should look at the qualifications of those who are actually involved with the creation of the source. Scope. One should examine the subject, the publication date, and the arrangement of the materials. Treatment. A brief and readable material with good bibliography is desired for ready reference. Impartiality and freedom from bias is especially necessary for controversial subjects. Arrangements. Whether the order of the materials be alphabetical, chronological, tabular, etc. Are there indexes and cross-references, that sort of thing. Format. Considering such things as attractive binding, durable paper, font size, margins, illustrations, and so on. And he also took into consideration other things like a book's unique features. In 1990, for his contributions to the discipline, well, of course, in addition to having a building named after him, an award was actually created called the Lewis Shores Greenwood Publishing Group Award, and it's really an award that concentrates on excellence in collection development. It's a citation and $3,000 cash award to recognize excellence in book reviewing, particularly book reviewing that helps librarians make good selection decisions. I should also mention at this point that he received many other accolades during his lifetime. In 1967, he received the Beta Phi Mu Award. In 1967, the Mudge Citation. He was the founder of the Library College Association, the co-founder of the American Library History Roundtable, which I just mentioned. He was a member of the Association of College and Reference Librarians, the ALA and the NEA, and he was the president of the Southeastern Library Association from 1950 to 1952. He was a giant in the field, truly one of the great librarians, and a huge influence on anyone who's even considered being a reference librarian. As you can see, his influence is still felt today. And at this point, I would like to thank you for listening to this. And if you enjoyed my little voiceover, please stay tuned for the upcoming Decca release of Peter and the Wolf, where I will again appear lending the same sort of services. Take care and goodbye.